Good evening, our viewers. Tonight we have special guest in the studio. She's Ethiopian-born and DC-based, Grammy-nominated singer, writer, and actor Wayna Wondwossen. She will be speaking about her works and upcoming events. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Hello. Oh yes, Suni, it's true. They revoked his visa. I know. Who gets deported to the United States? I don't know, some problem with his medical degree. I'm looking at it right now. It says Internet Doctor of Medicine from Hillman College. Hillman! I don't know, somewhere in America.
Oh yeah. Now who wouldn't want, they say, a doctor for a fiance. Oh, yeah. Swore he'd be back one day and take me to the USA. Oh, yeah. Where we'll have such fun. Yeah.
Wayna, welcome to the Gera show again, and
Thank you.
It's good to have you from your tight schedule and everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
What's the secret, by the way? You still look good with all this traveling, shows, and everything. Family, kids. So what's the secret?
Let me tell you, the secret is these lights.
Is that right?
These lights are making me look 25. Hello.
It's a good compliment, though. Okay.
Yeah, no, I think that's such a thoughtful question. Thank you for the compliment. I think, the secret is self-care, and giving yourself permission to take care of yourself, because you really can't take care of your loved ones if you don't have a full cup. And I think a lot of women wrestle with this, giving themselves permission to take time out of their days, to exercise, to eat right, to sleep. And it's a balancing act. I don't always do it, but I recognized during the pandemic really is when I learned that there is no giving to my family on an empty cup. And I have to be full and genuinely happy in order for the vibration of the house to just go up, And my husband understands that. He supports that. He makes space for me to have that. My kids understand that. They're 2 girls now. They're young women. So they understand, Mom, maybe not the 10-year-old. The 14-year-old gets it.
Okay.
The 10-year-old is like, Mommy, 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 Mommy. But yeah, I give myself that permission now, and I don't feel guilty about it.
And we also have to give a credit for your other half as well.
Absolutely.
He's someone who like you in the industry, the music industry. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and he learned because he saw me when I wasn't doing music. He saw how unhappy I was, So he knows, he gets it.
You were really unhappy working for the White House?
Keeping it 100%. So unhappy is not quite the right word. Unfulfilled is the word. Because I think if you're doing something that's great, it can sometimes be a substitute for what feels like your true passion, your deepest love. And then you find consolation in the fact that your family is excited, your friends think it's cool. But that fades. Over time, that fades. And you think about what you do on a daily basis, and going in every day in the subway ride. And there are moments of joy, moments of excitement, moments of fulfillment, but that, I firmly believe that all of our souls have a purpose here. And our talents, our experiences, our stories have all guided us to fulfill that purpose. And if we don't fulfill that purpose or move in the direction of fulfilling that purpose, there will always be unrest.
That is true.
And we have to follow that.
That is true. That is true.
So it doesn't matter how great the thing is that you're doing. If it's not your assignment, you know, what God gave you to do here, then you're always going to feel incomplete.
Gotta follow your passion and make yourself happy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wonderful. How about Amharic?
We're
You
going
know
there.
that was my next
We're going
question.
there.
And who else speaking Amharic in the house? The kids?
Are the kids speaking Amharic?
Not
No,
yet. Okay.
no.
All right.
Sadly, yeah, they haven't got much help from me. And you know, look, my mom and I immigrated here when I was 3.
I see.
And my mom was working 2 jobs. You know, going to school at night. Her life was about our survival, and there was no time. There was no time to maintain, you know, my language, my Amharic. And I was also in survival mode too, as a 3-year-old, trying to figure out this new place I was in, trying to fit in. And it just happened fast. Within 3 months, they said I forgot Amharic and I started speaking English. And, you know, it's this missing part of myself, although I know I spoke it when I was little, so it's there, right? But
that's right.
It's this part of myself that I haven't reclaimed yet. And I will before I die.
You
I
promise.
will.
So the next
I promise.
Next interview will be in Amharic.
Next interview? I don't know about the next interview, but I think my plan is to just go to Gondar or somewhere for like 3 months.
Go in
I
there
don't
in
know
the Gadam
anything.
or somewhere,
Yes.
you know, and then hide yourself.
Yeah, and just hang out with the folks, hang out with my people. Let them teach me the hard way.
Do you understand or?
A little bit.
A little bit.
It
Okay.
was just me and my mom in the household,
yeah.
so there wasn't a lot of Amharic being spoken around me. Although, I mean, my mom is clearly like always speaking in Amharic, but not to me. So,
Interesting.
yeah. Which is interesting, yeah, because she's so much more comfortable and such a traditional Ethiopian woman. Like if you met her today, you wouldn't imagine that, you know, her daughter would be so Americanized. So, but I'm glad for that because the values, the traditions, the culture in terms of how I see the world, how I love my people, she taught me that.
That is true, but majority of us were facing that anyway.
Right.
You know, our kids are complete Americans.
Yeah, yeah.
I understand. Wait, now let me take you back to your professional life.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your work with the Grammys.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that you were elected to serve as the on the board of what? You were elected to serve a national board of trustees, and help create a new Grammy category.
Right.
That's correct.
Right. That's
Tell
correct.
us about that a little bit.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, there was so much, right? There was so much political upheaval. The pandemic of racial injustice, and artists were writing and singing songs that had a message. And what we really wanted to do was incentivize more artists to make music that spoke to what was happening around us, because we were so polarized, we were so divided, and we wanted to use the power of music to help us connect with each other, empathize with each other, to help us see one another, right? And I think that's the most sacred role of an artist, right? And music. So, and the industry doesn't always support that. You know, sometimes it's the raunchiest song or the wildest song or the party song that gets the most popularity. But we know that that genre of music, social change music, can change people's hearts. And that's what all change comes from, when people's hearts change. So we wrote a proposal, me and a good friend of mine named Mamuna and Dr. Carlos Chirinos, a professor at NYU. So we wrote a proposal to the Academy and we rallied the music community to support it, and it passed. And it became an official Grammy in 2021. And the First Lady presented it to the first winner on the Grammy telecast. And I was so proud to sit there and watch it happen. You know, it was amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was such an honor. And there have been 2 winners since then. And, you know, my peers were so excited that they elected me to this leadership role. And so now I get to sit in a room with about 45 other national trustees representing the Academy. And I'm super proud of that. I'm super proud to be in that room representing, independent artists like me, representing global creators from Africa, all over the world, women. So it's, I'm very happy to have that seat now because I think I can help speak for all of us.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And now, we're gonna talk about the Good on Paper, the new movie that you played. My producer, if that's possible, why don't we just watch that video and come back?
Hello. Oh, yes, Suni, it's true. They revoked his visa. I know. Who gets deported to the United States? I don't know, some problem with his medical degree. I'm looking at it right now. It says Internet Doctor of Medicine from Hillman College. Hillman! I don't know, somewhere in America.
Oh yeah. Now who wouldn't want, they say, a doctor for a fiance? Oh yeah. Swore he'd be back one day and take me to the USA. Oh yeah. Where we'll have such fun. Oh yeah. Watching our 3 kids run. Yeah. Until that day comes, send him a Western Union. You deserve the fairy tale too. That fairy tale starring you. You deserve it, baby, you do. But even Cinderella didn't lose both shoes. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Good on paper, infatuation always makes us fool. I'm good on paper, infatuation always makes us fool.
You must marry him. He's very handsome. Okay, he forgot your name, so what? Your father never knew my name. Do you want a baby with dimples?
She used to getting guys just better than average. Cute, but not too much to manage. She messed up once, but she looked past it. Why? He looked like Lenny Kravitz.
Wayna, what do you mean by good on paper? And why do you think women choose men who are good on paper? You literally play an African man in this video, correct? And tell us about this character. Do you think African moms give a good advice on love and other matters?
Ooh, that's such a good question. Okay. So, yes and no.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, I think our moms want the best for us. They want us to have the ideal guy. And oftentimes, an ideal guy has certain characteristics, right? They're a doctor or a lawyer, an engineer. They got, a good income. They don't have any kids. There's a whole list of things that are considered to be the ideal guy.
That's right.
But the truth is that a lot of times there are amazing men, good hearts, good characters that we just don't even see because we're looking at this external resume that we think we need to check all of these boxes, to find our soulmate. Mm-hmm. And I see a lot of women, and even in my own journey to, find my partner, it was, there were a lot of guys who just looked great on the surface. And I don't mean just looks. I mean, all of those characteristics that we're taught are so important. And when you get blinded by those things, you miss the real. It's the things of substance that matter and that won't change over time, or just grow deeper, So I wanted to laugh a little bit at the silly choices that we make because, in the video we talk about the fairy tale that we're all sold, Cinderella and the Once Upon a Time. You have this image of this Prince Charming that comes and sweeps you. That's right. No. You have to be your own Prince Charming, number one, and then when you vibrate like that, you can attract a person who's also that on the inside. So, yeah, don't pick a guy because he's handsome, just because he's handsome. Don't pick him because he has money. Don't pick him because he comes from a good family. Because in the song, I joke about how he comes from a good family. Yeah, his mama keeps reminding me, right? So it's like there are good and bad things that come with all of those. That's right. All of those traits. So, just to be wise, right? And, our moms mean well, right? And they want the best for us, but sometimes we got to listen to our hearts and, follow our own journey.
Follow our journey.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. And that was a wonderful thing that you did. I know there's an upcoming event going on in about a week in the Washington, D.C. area.
Yeah.
So we will talk about that in a little bit, but you performed Bizunesh's song on TV and are doing a partial tribute to her on this upcoming events on August 30th, I believe. Yes, on Labor Day weekend. What made you fall in love with Bizunesh?
So we're driving down the streets of Addis, and I'm listening to the singer, and I'm like, who is this? And he starts telling me about her, and I look her up, and I see how beautiful she was, how glamorous and queen-like she was. Classy.
Yes.
And the stories that she was telling in her songs, you know, it's about women, it's about our perspectives on love and motherhood and all of the things that I can relate to, you know, and I just felt a connection to her. I can't explain it. I felt like, you know, for the first time I found something in myself that just resonated, like an aspirational thing. It was like, I want to be like her, you know, it was just this strange connection that I felt immediately. And then when I thought about it, I knew how beloved she was in our community, it was the first time I said, you know, I want to give this to them, you know. I want to learn this, and I want to pay tribute to her because she was so ahead of her time.
That's right.
You know, that kind of bravery, you can't forget that. It's hard to find. And I wanted to celebrate her for being the beautiful icon that she was, and also give something back to my community because I know what that meant to women watching her, you know. You just stand up taller when you see a woman carrying herself with that kind of confidence and grace. And I wanted to give that to my community. Like, I love her too. Let's celebrate her. And let's remember this era of music that is timeless.
That is true. You know, I know that you're in Addis recently, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Have you got a chance to meet her family members or anybody?
Come
be here too in the US.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I would love to. I met actually, briefly, I met one of her ex-boyfriends, like very briefly, yeah.
Oh, you met him?
Yeah, but he came to one of my shows in New York, and he was like, he dated Bizunesh. And I was like, wow, you know, but it was unfortunately a crazy time, and I couldn't sit down and talk to him, but I would have loved to learn about her as a woman, you know, how she balanced her life being in the spotlight, especially at a time when it was, you know, not very common for women to be out there like that. You know, how did she manage that?
That's true.
You know, but her music, you can feel in her music, her truthfulness, her sincerity, her authenticity. You know, those are the things that I gravitate to as a soul singer. And for me, she was the first Ethiopian soul singer that I met. Like, oh my God, you know?
Yeah, she was unique and she was really good.
Yes. The Diana Ross.
We're so happy that we have her.
We are so lucky. Yeah.
Wayna, you also contribute, doing a tribute to one of American soul singer. And she was also famous back home in Addis in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
In this case, Betty Swan.
Yes.
What introduced you to Betty Swan, and why did you want to pay tribute to her?
Yeah. Well, I was introduced to her music by the promoter of my show on Friday, Benzi Events. And he told me, you know, there's this great singer that we all grew up listening to. Her music is so amazing. You should listen to it. And so again, I went back and I listened to it, and immediately I fell in love with her voice. I fell in love with her lyrics. And it was something about the rawness of how she sang about love and loss that it just felt so real and so soulful. And that she was the soundtrack of so many people's lives in Addis Ababa was so powerful to me. You know, I mean, she's a successful soul singer here in the States.
Yes.
But she's probably way bigger in Addis.
People still listen to her now in Addis.
Are you serious? See,
I'm asking you.
Yes, I think, I mean, there are so many people when I told them I'm doing a tribute to Betty Swan, they're like, oh my God, I grew up listening to her. I know all her songs, and they would just start singing her songs. Yeah, so I mean, what's powerful to me about that is that, you know, I know what it's like to be an artist and not know all of the people that you're touching, right? She's an 80-something-year-old woman now. I don't know if she even knows there's this whole community of people on the other side of the world who absolutely love you, who attach their life stories to your soundtrack. You know, you are the soundtrack of their lives. And I just find that to be so powerful and amazing. And on top of that she's singing soul music and that it's resonating with our people says to me the power of music, that it can cut across generations, time, culture, language, history, and touch the heart. I mean, this is the point of soul music, right? So I felt like if I could give them something, why don't I give them this reenactment of her and this period of their lives, so that, you know, what better gift could I give my community to celebrate her, not only as an artist, but to also give them this moment in time that they shared, you know, and to celebrate the fact that music can cut across everything, you know. This is, I think, the point of it, of all of it, you know, to just...
That's true. What song do you perform?
So I'm going to be doing Close for the Season. I think that might be my favorite one, Close for the Season. I'll do her big hit, Make Me Yours.
Make Me Yours.
Yes. And I'll do Today I Started Loving You Again. Ugh, the lyrics of that one. And then I'll be doing I'd Rather Go Blind, you know, than to see you walk away from me.
Looking for what though? That's
Yeah.
August 30th, right?
August 30th, Friday, August 30th at Bethesda Theater.
We're gonna be there now. Let me bring you to these questions. Very interesting, you know. A lot of people pronounce our names.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right? That's the fact that some of us have really tough name to pronounce.
Mm-hmm.
People lately even they mispronouncing the Democratic nominee's name.
They sure do.
Right?
They sure do. And and even belligerent about it, like, I'm gonna call her. Did you see that interview where the woman was like, I'm gonna call her whatever I want?
Yes.
That's my
That's my
See?
Yeah, it's a sad thing. My question is this. This is a personal subject for you, right? And you did a short film, talked about TEDx talk, a video. Why this subject is important to you, and of course Ethiopians as well, and why is it important to pronounce names correctly, in your view?
It's the first day of 4th grade. New book bag, white sneakers, fresh braids. And the teacher says...
Okay, children, we've got a lot to cover, beginning with attendance. Matthew? Here. Jessica?
Oh no, that's me.
God. Are they staring yet? When is this gonna be over?
Wayna Wondwossen? Am I saying that right?
Well, actually, Miss Phillips...
Great, so listen, just to make it easier on both of us, I'll call you WW, just like Wonder Woman, okay?
But then, in an unusual act of defiance, I stood up and said, I'm here. And when fear tries to define me, my name, it reminds me I'm here. No, it isn't all the same. There's only one I'll ever claim, and I won't answer to that name. No, I won't answer to WW, Wonder Woman, Woman King, Wakanda forever. I only answer to what my mother and I tasted on the Kalashimon you named me. I only answer to my name.
it's so funny because when I was growing up here and going to school in the States, the thing that I dreaded the most was roll call, that first day of school when your teacher's reading your name. And my full name is Wayna, and the way my mom spelled it was Wayneab, which is quite misleading, right? So you can imagine how difficult that was, and the way the kids would make fun of it, the way the teacher would hack it. And in the era that I was growing up, there was far less sensitivity. People didn't even get why it was important or even culturally relevant to pronounce people's names correctly. So I would squirm in my seat, just waiting for that moment of embarrassment. And, I would see some of my friends and family try to fit in by changing how they pronounce their names. I have a cousin named Tizita who would call herself Tizita. She'd be like, "Hi, this is Tizita,"
Right.
and I would be like, "No, no.
Yes.
And it was this, this resistance, this pride that I had, like, you gotta pronounce my name correctly. And it wasn't until later when I, started doing these projects and this short film that we did in New York, shot by this incredible producer, Bethel Dixon, who's Ethiopian, wrote this beautiful story about a girl who stands up to her teacher when her teacher wants to nickname her from Meskaram, she wants to call her M. And how this girl stands up to the teacher and says, "No, you're going to call me Meskaram," And, the story, the idea of that, like the power in a name, right? And that was the message that the director told me. Like when you perform this, when you write the song that goes with this film, think about the power of a name, why it's important, right? So I really started to do my research, and I read all of the science behind it. I mean, there are a million reasons why our name is the most important word in the world to all of us, right? I mean, there are literal parts of our brain that light up when we hear our name, right? And there are ways that you feel immediately connected to and more trustworthy with someone who knows your name and calls you your name often. If you notice, a lot of salespeople, when they call you, they always repeat your name. "Oh, so Gera, so how's it going with your utilities? Is your energy bill good, Gera?" You see, they repeat your name because it makes you feel warm and fuzzy and like they know you, because you're literally hardwired to love the sound of your own name. By the same token, when your name is botched, you feel unseen. You feel unworthy, you feel disrespected, especially when it's on purpose. When it's an accident, it's an opportunity for a conversation and you can give grace in the same way you would want someone to give you grace if you mispronounce their name. But when it feels purposeful, like it often was for kids growing up in the time I was growing up, it really cuts away. It's like a constant subtle insult, a daily insult that you endure and that chips away at you, right? And of course, our names all have a story behind them, I mean, my name, Wayna, my mom named me that because, she, it means, of course, the wine of God, when you go to church and you get communion. And she used to tell me, it's so special that after you take communion, you have to cover your mouth. That's how special it is. That's how special you are to me, And that's the foundation of my identity, that story. And that name is the foundation of my identity. So when it's botched on purpose or carelessly, then it chips away at who I am. So I really wanted to just encourage everyone to learn the story of their name, to honor their name. Don't change the pronunciation or shorten it just out of convenience for other people, just because you want to fit in or for whatever reason. Like, recognize this thing is like a mirror, right, in front of you. And you don't want anyone to distort the image of who you are to yourself or to the world. So, and in our case, it's a symbol of our culture too, which comes with us. We walk into a room. It has a lot of meanings. It has a lot of meanings.
That's true. And it's not the same, Hey, what's up, buddy? And hey, what's up, Wayna?
Yes.
Yes.
That's huge difference. It feels so good to hear your name. Gera, Gera, Gera.
Gera.
You feel good?
That is. There was this guy back in the days. He used to own a gas station, and when people come to fill up their gases, it was a full service. So on first day, he will ask them their name. So when he completes the gas thing, he finished the gas and he closed the thing, and then he will write on a small paper. And that's
the person's name.
Cover, put their name in there, and then he close it. So when they come back next time, he will just open that thing and see their name, and he said, "Hey, how are you, Miss Wayna? Welcome back."
Yep.
Think about it, how you feel.
Yes.
You will go to that gas station for life.
Every time. I bet he never went out of business.
He won his customers for life.
That's right. It goes a long way.
Yeah. Pronouncing names correctly and calling by the name. It's a very important thing. We're about to wrap up our program due to the limited time that we have. But before that, the big day is coming, August 30th. Let's talk about it a little bit.
Ooh.
And if there's anything that you want to say about that event, please do, and let's wrap up our program after that.
Yeah, I do a lot of shows, but I don't often do tribute concerts because they take a lot of work. You have to learn a lot of new material. Your musicians have to learn a lot of new material. So when you do them, it's really out of love. There's a purpose, there's a uniqueness to it. And I've had, since the moment we started planning this show, this feeling like this is going to be an unforgettable night. I just feel something special and unique is going to happen, and we're all going to experience it together, And it's because it's something I don't do often, it's rare and special. So my musicians I play with some of the best musicians in DC. I have some of the two most amazing singers doing all these background parts for the Betty Swan stuff. And we are all excited and pumped to pay tribute to this music, but it's one of those once-in-a-lifetime moments that you don't get to have all the time. And for that reason, and the space itself, Bethesda Theater, is such a beautiful space. I just feel like magic is going to happen, So I'm just getting ready. I'm not drinking a lot of coffee or anything, just so I can have my juices ready because
So it's in Bethesda Theater, correct?
Bethesda Theater, which Grammy-nominated performed there recently. And I did a tribute there also to Buzunesh in 2017. And since then, we've worked on these songs. I've performed them here and there, and we've come up with some new arrangements, and they're really funky. We've interpreted them, we've imagined them in a way that's, I don't think anyone's ever heard. Nobody's ever heard the way we're doing it. So it's gonna be dope.
Are we gonna hear that thing? The thing that you did with Stevie Wonder?
You mean the little bit of Tizata when I did Tizata?
Yes.
I could if they ask for it. I will. Sure, why not?
I'll be the one that was gonna ask.
Sure, why not? If I was brave enough to do it in front of Stevie, I can do it in front of our people. Yeah, why not? They'll forgive me whatever I do.
It's great to have you on the Gera show, and hopefully we'll make it happen again next time.
It is great to be here.
Talking Amharic a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to say a few words to our audience in Amharic? It is always a pleasure to have you today.
It's so good to see you. Thank you for everything you're doing and giving to our community, right? We need more voices and leaders like you. So
thank you.
Thank you for representing us and making us feel good.
Okay, our viewers, I hope you had a wonderful time with Wayna Wondwossen, as she mentioned it, this coming Labor Day weekend on August 30th. She will be performing at the Bethesda Theater. So please, let's purchase our ticket and secure our spot and go out and support Wayna Wondwossen. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening.